Welcome to my
Shock Factory.
Don't ask for me. Hit you with that shock. Yo. Yeah. Mr. Shock, straight shock you with that shin gone. Machete blade to your knees, now your shin's gone. I be biting on my arm like I'm trying to spawn. My titan form like I'm Aaron Yeager, what you want? Eyes is back, I'm here to take you all on. Built like guts. Griffith did it all wrong, give no fucks. Like Shady wrote the whole song. I see your ass in hell, devil man, I'm on. What I'm on is way beyond Batman Beyond. Heroes in a half shell. Captain Planet, Mum Raw, Thunder, Thundercats. Can't keep track how many Mortal Kombat matches I done won since I was a little knucklehead ninja. Soul Reaper, but I also am a... Oops, I meant Visor. Flames, the Ghost Rider. Van Wilder, Deadpool, but I'm wilder. Fuck it, I don't need real love. I'd rather fucking drown in a tub filled with blood. Blunt. Green stuff that'll stretch out your lungs. Like Method Man back in 91. Shit. Tank Clan, for they knew what the woo was. For they knew who Snoop was. For they knew about that bread and that blue stuff. For y'all new niggas out there really had to blow up. Just to see the Source Awards once. All for one piece, never die for crumbs. I feel quite delusional. Woke up dead, attending my own funeral. I thought it'd be unusual. It's just the usual, more of the usual, and usually unusual. And that's the way my life has always been. I feel like Beetlejuice, so much fucking time I spent in the underworld, but I do not repent, get rich or die trying. I feel like 50 Cent. And that's the only way that I could do it. Only way that I was taught how to fucking keep it ruthless. How to make this fucking real music. How to be a fucking nuisance. Anytime I fucking step to the motherfucking trap. I'ma put that fucking blade, motherfucking, or the axe in your back. I'm trying to find my Cassie hack. I'm trying to keep track, but I had too many Mortal Kombat matches. I don't know where else to fucking take it, but I know it's gonna end tragic. But fuck that, I don't want to talk about real rap. I'd rather talk about the warpath. I'd rather talk about the real rap. I'd rather talk about the fucking path, the path that I walked. Leave a line in chalk. It's shock. Return to factory settings, nigga. Yo. Shock Factory. Return to them factory settings, nigga. Welcome back to Occult Underground. I am your host, N. Pandit Cole, and this is Doomscrollers Entry 2. We're in Entry 2 now. This is the second part of the lecture series for Doomscrollers. This is the official launch lectures for Occult Underground. So we're going to be picking up where we left off with Entry 1, and we're going to be going into Entry 2. This one deals with prompts and prompting and the ways in which we have been prompted to behave in certain ways and to conduct ourselves in certain ways and prompted to live certain lifestyles. Lifestyles that might not be the lifestyles we would have chose for ourselves had we not been prompted by algorithms to pursue certain paths. So that's why I wanted to open up with the little rap shit real quick, because something I've been reflecting on recently is the way in which hip hop lied to me, and hip hop lied to you, and hip hop lied to us. Hip hop said, if you rap the struggle, hip hop will save you. Hip hop will put you in the club with bottles and beezies. Hip hop, I'm gonna try to cuss less because they keep age restricting all my videos. Hip hop will get you out of your struggle. Hip hop will get you out the trailer park. Hip hop will get you out the hood. Hip hop will get you off 8 Mile. Hip hop will get you where you want to go. Hip hop will fulfill your dreams. I dropped out of high school at 16 to rap because Wiz did it, Tyga did it, Wayne did it. So I thought, I'm going to do it. I put in 10 years grinding into hip hop, 10 years of music, became an internet DJ, posted, did music videos, did projects, did collabs, did albums, did mixtapes, got my shit on streaming, did all that shit. No record deal. No record deal. Hip hop didn't save me. It didn't put no money in my pocket. I never made not damn near a dime off hip hop. Like Dr. Dre and Straight Outta Compton when his mom's like, he tells his mom, I get paid. She goes, $50? So that makes you rich? She slaps that nigga. Like, I wasn't even getting paid $50, bruh. Niggas was barely trying to give me light rail money to get to the studio so I could DJ the show. Like, niggas wasn't even trying to give me light rail money so I could get there. But they like, where you at? Where am I? Can niggas pick me up, bitch? You know what I mean? And yeah, so hip hop lied. And there's a story. I don't know if I want to tell it or not, but it is a Occult underground. So I guess I'll tell you guys this story. So when I was doing internet radio, we would interview all the artists in Northern California from Sacramento to the Bay, right? This was around the time when Mozzie first blew up. Mozzie was on his way out of Sac when I started at the radio. Perky's Calling was like going up, and he was on his way to LA. Like he was about to. It was right before Mozzie blew up with his whole shit. So I became a DJ. First, I started as an intern at this internet radio station. Then I became the head engineer and DJ doing the shows. The program director put me on the boards, and I just was DJing and running all the shows, and became an online personality. This was my venture into becoming an online personality outside my own platform. I used my rap persona, Russ Ruthless. I became DJ Russ or DJ Russ Ruthless. And I have a bunch of Russ Ruthless shit out there. So if you guys want to look at my old shit, I have raps, I have music videos. Russ Ruthless, Russ spelled with one S, not like Russ. Russ spelled with one S, RUS, which stands for Relentless Underground Style. Russ Ruthless. That was my rap persona. That was my hip hop persona. Hip hop is how I got into knowledge of self. Hip hop is how I got into metaphysics, spirituality, deeper consciousness. It all started in hip hop. Being a musician is being a magician. There's metaphysics and magic behind music. The whole shit is spiritual. The whole shit is occult, hidden culture. So hip hop is how I started all this shit back when I dropped out. But I did start writing. I dropped out like 16, and then within like 6 months of dropping out and switching over to charter school and going to, charter school where it's mostly independent study, I started writing Peacoat Society, my first series that I wrote for 10 years unpublished before starting my own publishing imprint, Total Shock Fiction. And that's how I became an author as well. So I was an author slash rapper, and I wanted to pretty much get famous rapping so I could turn my stories into anime. That was my whole mission, right? I come up off Immortal Technique, conscious shit, Tupac, DMX, Ice Cube, old school shit, Wu-Tang Clan, all that shit. I came up in the era where J. Cole and Drake and Wayne and Young Money, that's like when I was in high school. Carter 3 from Jay-Z came out my freshman year. Eminem was God to me, you know what I mean? So like that's the era I came up in. So when I was doing the DJ shit, thinking, okay, if I get in the scene and I can get behind the scenes as the DJ guy who's already in the door, I can start, shopping my music out and get people listening to my music. Once you're the DJ, no one wants to hear you rap. People are like, you rap. And it's like I would drop freestyles. I would drop freestyles on the show. I even had some old head try to talk shit to me and be like, your freestyle you did on the show last week was trash. He told me this in studio during the show, during a live stream show. He told me this. Mind you, doing the boards is all technical skill. I'm thinking of I gotta pull emails to grab niggas' music because they never give us their music. They never have a flash drive. They gotta email me the music. So I'm having to pull the email, download music off YouTube to play at request, play music, keep the music going, go back and forth between mics and music while the YouTube live stream is going and keeping the YouTube live stream going. I'm running the whole studio. So engineering the whole studio, operating the whole shit. So nigga said your freestyle was trash. There were a few times where my freestyles would be trash because I'm thinking more DJ shit, and then when I hop on the mic, I have to switch to free flow freestyle mode, which is the exact opposite. So yeah, sometimes my freestyles were trash. Not always. He basically was just trying to say I was trash, like I sucked at rapping. He was some old head ass burned out nigga. So I said to the host of the show, I'm like, hey nigga, can I gas this motherfucker? Because the host of the show always let me rap. So he's do it. I threw on a beat, grabbed the mic and I gassed that motherfucker. I wasn't like mad disrespectful to this old head, but I, was talking my shit like, yeah, da, 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 da. And then he was just like, never do that again. Like, nigga, please, bro. Like, fuck out of here. But yeah, that's the thing. Sacramento has the worst music scene. There's no trajectory to the industry here. Sacramento is seedy. Our whole shit is built on P and H culture, pH balance. pH balance is the number one focus in Sacramento. If you get what I mean. So there's no trajectory for hip hop. If you want to be a rapper, there's 999,001 rappers in Sacramento. Nobody pretty much goes anywhere. The only big rappers we've ever had make staples in rap is Brother Lynch, Sibo, and then there's also some more dark, tragic stories of rap that have made a lasting impression on the legacy of Sacramento rap, who shall remain nameless. And then of course Mozzie blew up into mainstream. And then Sweetie, I believe, is originally from the Bay, but she went to high school out here. She went to the same high school as my sister went to. So yeah, Sacramento has always just been seedy. You have like what's her name? The chick who did the Barbie movie, Greta Greta Lerdwig. What's her name? The chick who did the Barbie movie, she's from Sacramento too. So you have some people who come out of Sacramento. I think there's some MMA motherfuckers who made it from Sacramento, but Sacramento, bruh, is a place where there's no culture. People here, it's not even just like, oh, it's ratchet. It's like people are just whack. Like people in Sacramento are just whack as fuck. And I'm not from Sacramento, so I don't give a fuck. I'll talk as much shit as I want. I've lived here for like 20 years, but I'm not even from Sacramento. I'm from Redding, California, which is more of a shithole. Sacramento is LA compared to Redding, but Sacramento compared to Southern California is Redding. Like that's how it is. Like Redding is backwoods, Rob Zombie country. That's where I come from. Straight white as fuck, backwoods, last stop gas station, truckers killing people at truck stops, cults, cloak and dagger shit, backwoods, lumberjack, axe to your fucking back shit. Jason Voorhees, Friday the 13th, Last House on the Left Side, Wes Craven type shit, Elm Street type shit. I come from the backwoods. That's what this hockey mask, nigga. There's a reason that I have this hockey mask as a fucking talisman. It's because, nigga, I'm from Crystal Lake, nigga. I'm from Crystal Lake, bro. Like Paradise burned down back like years and years back, which is by Redding, which is where like Whiskey Town and shit is at. All that shit burned up. That's right by Redding. That shit was all right by Redding. That was a historic wildfire for California. So we had and then Sacramento is the capital. But what's crazy about Sacramento is like it was a big deal back in the early times of America because it was the capital of California. When they were building California, Sacramento was the capital. So it was a big deal when they were building San Francisco, when they were building LA, when they were building all these other cities. Now, people don't even realize, like, people don't know shit about what's beyond, like, SoCal. Like, people have heard of San Francisco and shit. They see it in movies, but they don't even know, like, the Bay is, like, hour 45 minutes, is, like, hour 45 minutes from Sacramento, or however far it is, 45 minutes, an hour, however far the Bay is from Sacramento. Like there's distance, bro. We're by the river, they're by the Bay. Like it's a total thing. And people from the Bay are like, Sacramento's not the Bay. No, we're not the Bay. I don't want to be the Bay. Like I'm not even Sacramento native. I'm just Sacramento resident. You know what I'm saying? So the whole scene in Sacramento was trash. But now I'm off on a tangent about Sacramento. But anyway, what I was saying was when I was doing the radio shit, I was trying to get my social media popping. I was doing my music. I shit you not, bro. I shit you niggas not. Ah, I'm not even gonna drop the story. Y'all niggas gonna have to get that one at the lecture. Like y'all gonna have to get that one at the lecture, or maybe I'll drop that in the fucking once I get like my what's this shit called? The paywall shit. Not OnlyFans, but what's that shit called? Not Only Stands. Um what do they call this shit where you got to pay for the subscriptions? Patreon. Once I get the Patreon and popping, maybe there's other shit I could talk about type shit. But now I'm rambling. It's like, bruh, whatever. So anyway, all that to say, hip hop didn't save me. Hip hop didn't save me, bruh. And the point I was making was the way in which they made hip hop so shiny. I said, and the system is corrupt, which I began to see in high school. I knew this is a flawed system. They're not even teaching us shit. I'm just working for credits. High school trains you to work for credits to graduate the way a job trains you to get paid 2 weeks at a time. Every 2 weeks, you only get paid. You work for free and then get paid every 2 weeks. It's training you to be a worker. They don't teach you shit in school, in high school. Once you get through middle school, they don't teach you shit in high school. You're doing the same shit you did in middle school again in high school, but you're doing it for credits. So why did I do it the first time if it wasn't for no credits? It's stupid. They're just training you to be a worker. They don't teach you how to pay bills. They don't teach you how to leverage credit. They don't teach you how to become a homeowner. They don't teach you how to start a business. They don't want you to. The curriculum doesn't want you to do any of those things. They don't teach you what you could do. Given my interest, had school actually told me things I could do if they wanted me to be successful, which they didn't, I could have became an English professor. I could have got an English degree, could have went to school for English, could have became an English professor. I didn't even realize I wanted to be an author yet until like sophomore year, but I didn't even know I really loved books until 7th grade because they always made me read shit I didn't like. Even though I was an accelerated student, I hated having to read for school because they'd make you read shit I didn't want to read and do reports on shit I didn't want to read. So I didn't even realize I loved literature until 7th grade when I read The Outsiders. School is bullshit. It doesn't teach you shit. In Asia, like in Japan and China and shit, when you're in school, like in China, they do this shit. If third grade rolls around and they're like, this guy, he just is not a good student, he's not accelerated, they're like, you know what, this motherfucker, let's have him be an engineer. And they send you, oh, they start training you young, like, oh, be engineer. Or like, oh, this motherfucker, like Jet Li, he was exceptional with martial arts as a young kid, he was a prodigy, so they put him in a martial arts academy where he went to a martial arts academy, and then I'm pretty sure he went to the Olympics and shit with his kung fu. So it's like they specialize, and then the motherfuckers who are good students, those are motherfuckers going to universities and like continuing in school and shit. It's like, why waste time when motherfuckers figure out the interest? I mean, I'm not saying like, oh, if a motherfucker doesn't do good in third grade, just make them be a plumber. But I'm just saying, like, school, in addition to the curriculum they give us, which is a lot of falsified history, they should be teaching avenues of professions like in elementary school and middle school. As we get to middle school, like elementary school pretty much just teach kids basic shit, let them be kids and go recess. But once you get to middle school should be the point where they start to show you different avenues and lanes of business you could do and professions you can do, so you can start to generate some interest and figure out what your interest is and what profession you could do. And then when you get to high school should be training you at a college level for the kind of shit you would do, so then you can either go to college or go to a trade school or go into a profession. The whole system is flawed. The whole system is a gatekeeper system, so only the rich and get qualified through accreditation, and only the rich, wealthy, and privileged, or those willing to bend the knee, are the ones who get to go to the university, go to college, and get to become positioned in society. But with the way things are now, they've eliminated the middle class, and they're making that margin for the people who were winning smaller and smaller and smaller. They're turning this into apartheid. America is basically has become apartheid. That's what it is. The minimum wage should be $66 right now for all of us to keep up with the billionaires. They're getting billions. We can't even afford food and bills. It should be $66. And minimum wage, they're offering $16 out here for jobs. That's $50 less than it should be based on the economy. So what does that say? What does that say? And the government is shut down right now. We don't even have a government right now. There actually isn't a government. We only have state governments. The only reason America can shut down the government is because we have states. So they can shut down the federal government and all the state governments are still online. That's why they're able to do that. And then while they shut down the federal government, they just do what they want. Shutting down the federal government because the Republicans and Democrats can't agree, that's just what they tell you niggas. They do that shit so they can do whatever the fuck they want. That just means we're going to do what we want. We don't need it passed. Fuck it. Obama amended the Constitution. When Obama amended the Constitution and told you niggas it was an imperfect document, that was that nigga and the government saying, we don't care what the fucking Constitution says and we don't care what they wrote. We do what we want. So you can wave the Constitution around as much as you want. They don't give a fuck about that shit. They could send the CIA and put you in Guantanamo Bay whenever they want, unless you got power. You got to have knowledge of self. You got to have power, metaphysical power. If you're operating within their legal system of their political spectrum, you're playing by their rules. That's why you play by your own rules. That's why you make your own rules. That's why you don't get prompted. You generate your own prompts and you build your own system in opposition to the flawed system. Because if you operate under their shit and you try to use their rules when they're not playing by the rules, you already lost the game. So this is why prompts, it's not just prompt what you type in, it's the prompts they give us. School is a prompt. School is a motherfucking how many year prompt? It's like a 15-year prompt. You know what I'm saying? You're in school from 5 to 15, that's 10 plus another 3 years. It's like a 13-year prompt where they're just prompting you every day with curriculum, training you to be a worker, training you how to think, training you how to fit in with cliques and groups and all this who's cool shit and all this stupid shit. Like you learn a bunch of dumb shit at school. School is bullshit. Yeah, they teach you how to read and math and shit like that, but geometry and shit like that, I don't use that stupid shit. Yeah, sacred geometry. Yeah, everything's a fractal and all this shit, but do I ever have to add up degrees, angles? Do I ever have to do 2x times 3x equals 4b as an adult human? Fuck no. I don't use algebra, nigga. Unless you're building computers and building rockets and shit, you don't need no algebra. You don't need no fucking equations. That was a waste of my motherfucking time. I could have been reading more books. I could have been doing other shit. I could have been learning kung fu. You niggas should have been teaching me karate instead. So I could chop a nigga down when a motherfucker talk shit. Like, that's a waste of my time. I don't need to do fucking geometry. You know what I'm saying? Biology. I don't want to cut up no frogs. I want to do that shit. Like, I'm trying to do that. I'm not trying to be a mortician. I'm trying to do that kind of shit. I'm trying to be a doctor or no shit. It's like, bruh. So, yeah, school is one of the first prompts they give us. When you incarnate on this planet, the reason why babies speak baby language is because babies, when you're in your baby mind, you actually know who you are. That's why you don't remember like the young when your infancy. And some people don't even remember when they were toddlers. I can remember back to when I was like 2, 3. I remember most of my life. Not there's huge gaps of shit I don't remember because there's memories we lose, whole eras we lose. Like I don't be remembering certain shit, but I do remember key moments in a lot of shit. And my earliest memories are from like 2, 3 years old. So like when they say, "Oh, you're born 95, you're not really a 90s kid. You grew up in 2000s." It's like, bruh, I remember shit from 97 on, nigga. From 2 years old, nigga, I remember, nigga. I was watching the Power Rangers shit at the foot of my mom's bed already. Like I was already watching that shit. I remember the 90s, bruh. I remember the fucking a movie comes out and they got the toys at Burger King. Like I remember all that shit from the 90s up through 99 to 2000, bruh. I started kindergarten in 2000. So yeah, is your baby mind. That's what I'm talking about. Your baby mind, you know who the fuck you are when you come into this world. Your soul knows, like, oh, I'm back. I came back. I rebooted so I could do this shit. And then you get prompted through the integration of being raised as a baby, as you learn to walk and learn to talk, and you start adopting the prompts of the algorithm of the way other people around you are talking, you start inheriting generational traumas and you start getting trained to be a human, to be a hue of man, a person. You lose that instinctual nature and then you become a kid or a child, and then over time, your childhood innocence that gets corrupted by society, that gets taken, that gets stolen, that gets destroyed, that's lost through rites of passage as you enter adolescence to become a teenager, which is kind of it's one of those periods of your life where it's the most traumatic, but also you're so reckless and don't give a fuck about your life. So you have all these crazy adventures that you would never do as an adult. So it's like a crazy time. And then, teenagers really, when you hit teenager, that's where you have the license and agency to affirm what you want to do, but you're still under the control of your parents and school and these institutions. So there's limits to what you can do. Had I just stuck to what the fuck I wanted to do as a teenager and really said fuck it, I'd be where I want to be right now. I wouldn't have lived false timelines, but I allowed myself to get gaslit here and there, gave up on my art at certain points, got jobs at certain points. You know what I'm saying? Different shit happened to where I allowed prompts to put me in positions. I dropped out of high school at 16, jumped into the Occupy Wall Street movement, became an activist, and got my and gaslit myself because people were acting like, "Oh, what are you doing? This shit you're doing is kind of crazy." Gaslit myself and said, "Oh, maybe I should go talk to someone," and then ended up getting myself put in a psychiatric program for like a year, sitting down with a therapist who's some racist white lady, and they put me on Abilify, which causes permanent muscle restriction. I'm going to fucking sitting with a psychiatrist who's prescribing me pills, like weird shit, bro. And they're paying me to draw my blood and have me sit in a dark room with a little sponge cap and like hit buttons while they're showing me pictures of chickens and shit. And you got to X, Y, X, Y, X, Y, X, Y. And they pay you to do that shit. Like, I didn't have no real like violations. I didn't like, nobody violated me or no shit like that during that time. But that was a violation. The fact they paid me to sit in that dark room with a little sponge cap on and hit those buttons and look at that screen and let them draw my blood, and they gave me like $250, like that's a violation. The fact I was a political activist at 16 speaking in front of 300 people on the Sacramento State Capitol steps, the same steps the Black Panthers marched up armed when they stormed the state capitol in 19 fucking 68. Was that 68 they stormed the capitol? Was that 66? We got to fact check that one. We got to fact check that one. When did the Black Panthers storm the Capitol? I have the newspaper of this on my wall. I should know it off the top of the head. That's from using too much AI and TikTok, making me forget shit. That was in 1967. So the same steps the Panthers marched up in 1967 when they presented themselves to the world. I attended a protest when I was 16 after I dropped out of school and I was active in the Occupy Wall Street movement. I had also marched in a march and spoke at that as well, but that was only about 40 or 50 people. This was a full protest, like 300 people, photographers. I was on some reckless shit at that time. I asked the motherfucker that was having people sign petitions, "Is there a way for me to get up there and speak?" And it was this old white dude. He just said, "Hey, go up there and just ask." So the lady was closing it out, and she's like, "Yeah, so we're closing out. We want to thank everyone for coming today." Whatever. She was like part of some organization, whatever. I walked up on her. No one said shit. I just walked up on her. These were different times. This is back in 2011. Now, if you try to walk up on someone at protest to the podium, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna have guns pointed at you, some shit. I walked up and I was like, "Can I say something?" She said, "Sure, sweetie, go ahead." Let me get on the podium in front of 300 people. I don't even remember what I said. I had written a little speech on my phone. All I know is I got an adrenaline surge. It was an adrenaline surge where my whole body, I couldn't even move. And it was an adrenaline surge. I was just saying shit. I had this picture that this photographer took of me, who she ended up being, she was a like an anarchist, tried to recruit me into like one of those anarchy groups, and I was not with that. I wasn't trying to do no shit like that. But she ended up emailing me and sent me the pictures, and she was like, "Oh yeah, we're doing this meeting." I'm like, "Oh no, I'm not getting involved in no shit like that." But I had a dope ass picture of me from this era, and it was me on the day of that protest on like my straight, on my Huey P shit. And I just did my speech, and I said the last thing I remembered that was written in there in my little speech. I said, "Your minds are weapons." And then I just like walked off, but I couldn't even move for real. So I was like this, and I like walked off a little bit. And yeah, and that at that time, my playlist was just Tupacalypse Now, Tupac's first album when he was hella militant and revolutionary and political when he was hella young. That first album, Tupacalypse Now and Rage Against the Machine. That was my playlist. And Immortal Technique and like Cannabis and shit like that. That's the shit I was bumping, like all just deep Hotep knowledge, like deep metaphysical, black conscious, like underground New York, fucking, buck the system shit. And I'm like hopping on the light rail going downtown, hitting protests at 16. And then I allowed myself to be prompted based on judgments made against me because people were like, "You're 16, you're ruining your life, you don't know what the fuck." Meanwhile, I was telling niggas shit that was gonna happen that they seen was true later when 2020 hit. In 2020, motherfuckers were looking at me real different, realizing the shit I said at 15 was the shit that happened in 2020. I was there on boots on the ground for the 2012 shift. I was there for the shift when this shit pivoted. When we pivoted in this shit. When this shit shifted. It was a pivot. That was a pivot point. 2012 was a pivot point. 2012, they put everything on the hinge of the Mayan calendar ending and the Doomsday Scrolls, and they put all of the spotlight on all of the political activism, all the conspiracy theories, and then when 2012 didn't happen, everybody said that shit was all fake. They hid everything in plain sight by putting it out there, and then when nothing big happened, they said it was fake. All the naysayers, all the casual tourists said, "Oh, that shit was fake," and it negated decades worth of information were ignored for a decade, damn near, until 2020 hit. Then niggas had 2020 vision all of a sudden. Then niggas put the goggles on. But niggas were blind after 2012. After 2012, niggas got dragged. 2012, that's where they put you niggas in the sunken place. I don't think Get Out came out to what, 2018? They put you niggas in the sunken place in 2012. Because after 2012, motherfuckers said, "Oh, it's a party. The world didn't end." The world didn't end. Remember that old Easy shit? 1999. And niggas ain't got no satisfaction. Cause I live like a G. After 2012, that's when we went to the ratchet era. That's when we hit the mumble rap era. That's where Chief Keef, bitches love Sosa, ba-da-da-da-da-da. That's where all the twerking shit came out. Bitches are just throwing it all out there. IG models, the IG model shit, mumble rap shit, just the Migos shit, just the ratchet depravity, the nihilism, the straight nihilistic living, body overall. Drake is king of hip hop, like just the straight whack through the gutter, bro. Drag you through the gutter whackness. Motherfuckers not deep. That's when niggas got not deep. That's when niggas got so shallow. That's when everybody got shallow. Hookup culture, dating apps. That was the eventually Tinder, all the shit, social media, selfies. This is now we live in the post meme age. This was the birth of that shit. After 2012, nigga, the world did end. The world as you knew it. The world as you knew it. The 2000s was from 2000 to 2012. And the Occupy Wall Street movement marked the pivot where activists were trying to say they're about to change shit on a level legally and politically in this country, that there needs to be pushback. But there was a lot of people on the ground, the protesters, who didn't even know what they were protesting. So they would make them look dumb on the news by getting a clip like, "What are you guys here for?" And they wouldn't even know. They didn't know we were protesting against corporations affirming human rights for themselves so that they could get over and assert more power into political elections so that they could buy out elections. They were doing it under the table. They made it so they could do it over the table. So a corporation could dump infinite money into an election and install anyone they want into office, which they were already doing that since they've been doing that shit since the 60s. Yeah. Come on. So that's where we entered the ratchet era. That was the ratchet era, 2012. And then eventually later, when I was in college, junior college, right? Junior college, went to junior college for a year. After I got my high school proficiency, I took the high school proficiency exam, which you don't even have to complete that shit. You can just go to junior college. You don't have to finish high school. They never even asked for that shit. But then when I was in college, that's where I found out about the Black conscious community. That's where we went to the YouTube era. That was Black Magic 363, KTL Media, Know the Ledge, the original channel, the Twin Pillars, Black News 102, the debate era. That's where we went to the YouTube classroom era. And see, the YouTube classroom era of advanced metaphysics online is a forgotten era. And what's crazy about it is The spirituality, everyone knowing about crystals and meme and all this shit now, all the spirituality memes, everyone knows about crystals, tarot. Everyone got into all this shit during 2020. People were inside the house and started getting into deep lore. All of that canon of information was being disseminated by the Black conscious community on the East Coast. The lecture circuit on the East Coast of the Black conscious community, from the Black intellectuals and the Black metaphysicians of the 80s and 90s, stemming from the Afrocentric movement to the dark matter think tank, from Czech Diop and Dr. Ivan Van Sertima and Dr. Joseph Ben and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, from them to Dr. Delbert Blair and Dr. Phil Valentine and Bobby Hemmett, master of the occult, and Panic, master of the occult. The dark matter think tank of the 80s and 90s stemmed out of the Afrocentric movement, and all of that knowledge eventually influenced mainstream culture from the underground to influence the mainstream marketization of spirituality. The same way hip hop came out of the gutter, came out of the hood, came out of Black cultural centers, and became worldwide global culture, and everyone embraced it as their own, Black or non-Black. That's the same thing that happened. The YouTube era of consciousness influenced the mainstreamization of spirituality, and when they just wanted to write niggas off and say, oh, those are Hotep niggas, the Hotep is the knowledge, and the knowledge stems from the Hotep University, and that's Occult Underground. That's why now I have founded OU, Occult U, Occult Underground, Occult University. This is the University of the Occult, because I'm a product of the YouTube era. I seen it all happen. I seen the rise and fall of the new age metaphysicians. Once niggas could just broadcast out of their room and say whatever they want. I seen the prompts. I seen the rise and fall, the niggas who violated. I'm not even gonna speak power to niggas' names. I could name niggas. I'm not even gonna speak power to niggas' names who didn't build. Because the niggas whose names I could say who didn't build, who a lot of them fell on their own swords, those niggas caused destruction. Those niggas came through on just some Killmonger shit. They weren't on no Black Panther shit. They weren't on no T'Challa shit. Can't even talk. I'm getting so pissed. These niggas weren't here to edify the elders. They weren't here to speak the names of Dr. Phil Valentine and Bobby Hemmett, master of the occult. They weren't here to put Baba before the names of the elders. The names of the elders. They weren't here to edify Dr. Joseph Ben. They weren't, I don't even know how many of these niggas went back and watched Dr. Joseph Ben's lectures. How many niggas went back to the Afrocentric information and read some of those books and looked at Dr. Ivan Van Sertima's books. Destruction of Black civilization. We were here before Columbus. Like, I don't even know how much of these niggas did those. Like, the OG at the underground record store in Old Sac put me on to Ivan Van Sertima. Put me on to lore. Like, that's the way it's supposed to be. You go to the temple as a young initiate, and the students who became disciples, who became their own edified adepts, put you on, and that's how you become a master. And then you put other people on, and then that's how you edify the prophets before you and the master teachers before you. And then that's how you continue legacy. That's how you continue lineage. That's how you build out heritage. That's the hidden culture. That's the hidden culture. And the YouTube era, when Radiohead Rich, formerly Brother Rich, Father Rich, Baba Rich, Radiohead Rich, when he started doing the Black Magic 363, 1 2 5 with red pill and blue pill, that was the paradigm shift. That was the shift in the era. That was the shift in the era. I can't even jump into my next lecture yet, because now I done took you niggas on a historic journey. Now we're in the YouTube era. I was just watching the Halloween from 1 2 5 video this morning. I posted that shit on my Substack at Mr. Shock. I'm turning my Substack into the publication and the news journalism, gonzo journalism, news publication, media house, headquarters for this information, for the occult underground, and for the lineage and the legacy and heritage this dates back to the YouTube era and to the dark matter think tank before that and to the Afrocentric movement before that. This whole shit stems all the way back. That's Ink Runs Red over on my Substack. That's my publication. Ink Runs Red under Total Shock Fiction, which is my publishing house. That's my media house, Total Shock Fiction. That's what the YouTube channel is. So the YouTube era, when Brother Rich was getting red pill and blue pill on Black Magic 363, and there were other individuals. I got to shout out Supernova Slom had a lot of powerful builds. Brother had a lot of powerful builds, right? Had a lot of powerful builds. His mom, Queen of Fours, she's very powerful. And him coming from her bloodline, he was coming with a lot of shit. Lot of shit. Supernova Slom, I used to see a Supernova Slom video drop, and I would be like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, oh, he's about to give niggas that motivation. You know what I'm saying? And that's what, oh, excuse me, not Queen of Fours. I used to think her name was Queen of Fours. It's Queen of Fua. I used to think her name was Queen of Fours when I first heard it. It's Queen of Fua. That's why I double checked it real quick. So respect to Queen of Fua, Supernova Slom. But yeah, so when I would see Supernova Slom, like that's why I'm gonna edify his name, because he's someone I remember, and I haven't seen a video of him for a long time. I just literally remembered him just now. But when I was thinking who used to make an impact when I would watch these videos, it was always one of them was always Supernova Slom, because he would get on there with straight motivation. He would raise up you know, your frequency. He would give you some positivity. He would be talking about eat your greens, health is wellness. He would put you on some powerful masculine energy, get you charged up, send you out into the world ready to go mode. You know what I'm saying? And those are the goats. Those are the prophets. Those are the masters. Those are the ones who built bridges for me to walk back to the dark matter think tank. Because I'm jumping in at Black Magic 363, but Rich, Radiohead Rich, builder of the 363 empire that it is now, who built Underground Railroad Productions and the Underground Railroad Radio and Black Magic 363, who became Black Magic, who became Radio Rich, from behind the camera to in front of the camera, putting everyone else on camera, building the CNN of Black consciousness, bridging the lineage back to the dark matter think tank. Rich was at the lectures. He was filming the lectures, making the tapes of the lectures when Bobby Hemmett was doing his lectures. Master of the cult, Bobby Hemmett, the Baba. Dr. Phil Valentine. He still has Dr. Phil Valentine on 363 Empire now. Dr. Phil Valentine still giving you niggas information. So this was an era that became my prompt. That's why I'm talking about this, because this was my prompt. See, I'm out here in Northern California where we don't have conscious movements. We don't have no conscious movement. There wasn't no movement for me to join. I could have went out and found probably a chapter of like Nation of Islam, but I don't even think we have I don't even know if we have a chapter of Nation of Islam in Sacramento. I know in the Bay we have Nation of Islam. I did a rap show with some Nation of Islam, and I got to see these how they operate, where they like this. It was cool because it was a rap show. It was a benefit show I was doing, and I was just there because I DJ'd the radio show. This was during the internet radio era I was doing. I was there because I just could get in free, so I was just hanging out. And I seen the Nation of Islam, and there was like a young brother who was like, he was like younger than me. I think he was just a teenager. I was like already like 20, but I think he might have been like 22, but he looked like a kid. He was like looked like a teenager. He was like their young, like, you know, young nigga who was doing it. And you know, young soldier. And I was like standing by the doorway. He was on one side, I was on the other side. So I seen them walking around, and like, bro, this was like dope. Like, this was the Nation of Islam. Like, I'd seen Nation of Islam speak like on, you know, the different Black conscious channels, you know, the whole history of Malcolm X. Like, I've studied all the whole history of Malcolm X. So this is getting to see Nation of Islam live in person. I'm like a fan. I'm like, oh it's Nation of Islam. It's them. It's them. So I'm like, I think I had a shirt and tie and shit on. So I'm like acting like them. I'm standing in the doorway on my Nation Islam shit. The organizers of the show, they're thinking I'm Nation Islam. Like they're thinking I'm NOI. They're like, hey, come here. Take me over. They like I walk back like over to a hallway. He's like, you see this doorway right here? This doorway's open to the back. This someone needs to be covering this. We need security on this. Tell the brothers about that. I'm like, oh, all right. Like they thought I was NOI. I'm like, I'm not even NOI, bro. Like I'm not even an event organizer for this. I'm literally just here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here. I'm just in the mix. So I went and told the young brother, I'm like, hey, bro, they need a door guarded. Like, get on that. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's hey, I'm not in that. And that's why I never was part of no organizations. But what was cool about the East Coast with the metaphysics community and the Black conscious community, the conscious community at least was like a movement where you didn't even have to be part of an organization. A lot of the different thought leaders and the speakers and the metaphysicians, they come from movements and different organizations, but it was a think tank. The dark matter think tank evolved into the conscious community. And now everything is just cyberspace. You know, I would say the conscious community still lives on because you still have 363 Empire, you still have KTL Media, you still have it. But now, I mean, I don't even know how many. I know there's a lot of quote unquote um no teppers out there with YouTube channels. Everyone's got a YouTube channel. There's a lot of people out there. But in terms of what I look at, the pillars who really bring the knowledge, the ones who have outlasted those who fell on their own swords, that's 363 Empire, and that's Know the Ledge. And the original KTL Media channel getting scrubbed off YouTube, tragedy. But of course, Red Pill and Blue Pill just built Know the Ledger and have the new channel going and have put already thousands of hours of lectures and information on that one. So the prompt that I adopted in a search for knowledge of self in a knowledgeless land, think of it like that. I'm in a land, Northern California, Sacramento, land of the ratchet, land of the pH balance. P's and H's. We got P's and H's out here. We don't got prophets and hoteps. We got P's and H's. You know what I'm saying? We in the matrix. It's like a black exploitation flick out here. It's the 70s out here. Niggas on the corner in a fur coat with a cane. Got girls walking around. He's asking them like, "You been working?" Like that's Northern California culture. Even the state capital, Sacramento, never became a LA or a San Francisco because it's always been too seedy. The whole downtown Sacramento area from Broadway to Alhambra, where the state capital's at, that was always solicitation and P's and H's. Even back then in the horse and wagon times, it was still P's and H's back then. Like Sacramento City, bro. We had a vampire here. Like I went to Mira Loma. That's the same high school. We have a famous life ender, one of the most famous ones. I'm not gonna speak no power to the motherfucker's name, but he's known as the Vampire of Sacramento, and he went to my high school in the 70s. Like shit is spooky out here. You know what I mean? Shit is spooky out here. Mira Loma had ghosts in it. You know, a student unalived himself in the bathroom the year before I got there. The same bathroom we all fought in. The same bathroom niggas was throwing down in. Motherfuckers was slipping in the piss while they was fighting in the bathroom. There was a bathroom on the second floor of the A-Wing building. That was the bathroom you go catch a fade real quick during school. A couple niggas go in there, and then the two niggas throw down. And then you film it, and then we all watching the shit. Or you just skip class there, go in there and chill in there and just not go to class. Like, or motherfuckers was doing other shit, I'm sure, too. But it's like there was ghosts in this motherfucking school. We had vampires at this school. In the 90s, everyone from Grant had to go to Mira Loma and the shit got shot up. Gangland shit. There were bullet holes still in the front of the school. There were still bullet holes in the wall. Mr. DeReicher, my freshman honors English teacher, told us all about that shit. He said all the hood kids from Grant Had to fucking come to Miraloma back in like the 90s, and the whole shit got shot up. He was a cool ass teacher. He was like he reminded me of like the grandpa off the show The Order. He like looked like that motherfucker. And he would wear these big ass like American History X fucking boots, combat boots. And he was just this white motherfucker with glasses, like lanky motherfucker, bald head, would just, dress like Walmart shit, and he would just, but what was cool about his class is, see, that guy, Mr. DeReicher, he understood prompts. The honors, the IB kids, because I was in the IB program, which is like AP, it's International Baccalaureate. That's like AP. These kids are having to do 8 hours of homework a night. They're showing up tired, backs hurt, backpacks huge. I wasn't doing that. Especially once I started awakening to knowledge of self. I said, fuck this. I'm just gonna fail every class. I don't give a fuck about school. I'm here to try to talk to these girls. So he said, because like he would throw these kids for a loop. They was used to, it's in the book, copy it down, that's the answer. He would ask them questions to make them think. They'd say the answer wasn't in the book. He'd say, no, it's not. Because he knew that the answer's in here. He was making us learn. And he said, there's people who have failed my class that told me they learned a lot. You know what I'm saying? He knew like he could peep like I wasn't an idiot, but he was just like, you never did any work. You totally failed my class. He was just like, it is what it is type shit. Sorry to see you type shit. But it's like his class was cool. Like, I didn't really like the shit we read in it, but he knew you can prompt these kids and just have them copy paste, or you can make them think. He would give us prompts to make us think, not just copy and paste. So that's a difference. Your prompt, if you have a prompt that gives you evolution in your thinking, it becomes knowledge. That's where the information is turning into knowledge. It's not just copy paste, parakeet, parroted, copy paste, which is what a lot of these niggas who came out of the YouTube era who just started broadcasting from their rooms was just saying shit, making shit up, taking shit they liked, copying shit, taking whole lectures and just reciting them. Like this whole video, this shit ain't shit I got from somebody else. Most of this shit has been shit about Sacramento and me growing up in Sacramento, like, and me doing music out here. Like, this is shit from me, but I'm applying it to the overall thesis of prompts. This is still Doom Scrolls. This is Doom Scrollers. Prompts isn't just a prompt. It's bigger than that. It's what prompts you in life. What subculture are you part of? What movement is speaking to you? For me, it was the YouTube era conscious community, which was the offspring of the dark matter think tank that Bobby Hemmett and Dr. Phil Valentine was building back out of the Afrocentric movement, which stems back to Dr. Yosef Ben and Dr. Africa and Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Check Diop, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, all that shit, bro. The conscious community was presenting the matrix and the reality of Sophia Stewart. I just seen a podcast where these dumbass no-teppers was talking shit to Sophia Stewart, talking shit like, oh, what? How did they steal Terminator? How did they steal the Matrix? Bruh, she already won the lawsuits. They took the ideas out of her book and plagiarized her book. They're like, so you went to college with James Cameron? No, you idiot. That nigga's old enough to be her daddy. They took the shit out of her book. She wrote a book. You niggas don't read. People write books and publish them. And people in Hollywood read those books and steal the ideas and reshape it and put it out as a movie and say, oh, this is some shit I made up. That movie they did about Predator, Prey, which gave them the franchise they're making money off of right now with Predator Badlands. They rebooted that whole franchise from the Prey movie with my girl Amber Midthunder. Ooh, she's so beautiful. They came up with the idea having the Native American indigenous people fighting the Predator. That was from a fan film. They seen a fan film, and the fan film, they have no rights to Predator, so they just stole their idea and made it into a movie, and those people couldn't do shit about it because it was a fan film. They gave them a free Billy. And that's what happens. So put some respect on Sophia Stewart's name. She terraformed the future. She's one of the prophets of science fiction. Science fiction is prophets. Philip K. Dick is a prophet. The CIA was running through his house because the science fiction, they're speaking shit. When Tom Clancy came out with his books, the CIA ran down on him like, nigga, are you a spy from Russia? They said, are you stealing military secrets? How you know we have this technology? He was just thinking of the shit. He was pointing out the Akashic records. Science fiction broadcast the future. Sophia Stewart laid down the framework of Terminator and motherfucking The Matrix. And we're in a simulation, and this shit's looking like Skynet. That makes her a prophet. She told you niggas third eye, nigga, the Matrix. The Matrix is the womb, nigga. We're in a womb. We're in a cosmic womb. We're in a matrix. This shit is a geographic grid. You remember an iRobot? Vicky? Icky Vicky, nigga? That's the Matrix. That's Siri, nigga. That's Alexa, nigga. That's Demetria, nigga. In the power chamber, in the command center, in the energy tube, nigga. Power Rangers Turbo, nigga. Shift into turbo. Like we're in the turbo verse, nigga. This is the future. This is the future, dog. We're in the motherfucking future. So we're already an hour in, and I didn't even get to the lecture yet. That was just bringing you niggas in the door. I had to bring you niggas in the door so you even know where the fuck we're at. So you niggas even know what the fuck this shit is. So let's keep it going. We just gonna keep this shit going. So with that being said, you know, we'll run through this. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but we'll run through this shit. Doomscrollers entry 2. So this is part 2 to Doomscrollers. That was my introduction. Gave you niggas a bunch of lore, a bunch of history, iceberg on iceberg rabbit holes to go down. Go through that shit and research the shit I talked about. Leave some comments if you got questions. If it's not stupid, I'll reply back and let you niggas know. Maybe give you niggas some links so you can look up some shit. But I mean, that was just me really just getting in my mode. Getting in my mode and getting ready for this shit. So we're going to be dealing with Power Rangers today. The Morphin Grid. We're going to be dealing with the Morphin Grid, which is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a, you know, the Morphin Grid is a metaphor in the show for the real energy grid and the mythotech grid engine. The myth grid. The energy grid and the myth grid. So we're going to be dealing with that. So we want to call forward Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, the White Ranger, the Red Zeo Ranger, the Red Turbo Ranger, the Black Dino Ranger, the original Green Ranger, Commander of the Dragon Zord, the White Dragon, one of the most iconic Power Rangers in history, Tommy Oliver, Jason David Frank, JDF. We want to call him forward. We want to call forward Immense Goddess, Shiva Medusa, Twee Trang. We want to call her forward for the legacy she paved and the cultural bridge and her journey from the aftermath of the Vietnam War to America to on screen as the original yellow Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, Twee Trang. We want to call her forward, and we want to have Tommy Oliver and Trini Kwan and JDF and Twee with us as we walk through this Power Ranger lore today and we decode hidden culture in Power Rangers and we use the popular culture media under fair use of cultural commentary in a journalistic capacity to draw some analogies for us to build out this mythotech grid and show you the ways in which we are living in a fully multi-dimensional reality where there's a lot of superpowers, superhero shit going on every day that you've been prompted to ignore. And I'm prompting you to see where it is morphin time. I want you to pick up that morpher and I want you to morph because it's time to morph. The prompt is it is morphing time. It is time to morph. You need to get out of the energy tube and get out here into the morphin grid. It's more phenomenal. So for the 90s kids especially, but even if you're not a 90s kid, even if you're not a Power Rangers fan, this is still Occult Underground. This is still Occult knowledge. I'm just reflecting it through the lens of what I grew up with because I come from the Morphin Grid. I come from Power Rangers. I grew up off fandoms. Fandoms are prompts. Fandoms are movements that give us environments for subculture and hidden culture to emerge. And that's how we prompt ourselves to be the versions of ourselves we want to be. And that's where you get an icon like a Jason David Frank. That's where you get an icon like a Twee Trang. That's where you get these icons. You get an icon like a Bruce Lee. Sifu, Bruce Lee, Ashe. Jason David Frank, Ashe. Twee Trang, Ashe. So, first and foremost, and Panic Ashe, we want to call forth Panic, Master of the Occult. We always need Panic in the room whenever we're doing this. I am largely influenced, inspired by the many thousands of hours of content and videos and lectures that Panic did. Bobby Hemmett's lectures, The Dark Side, Satan is the Dark Side, the Dark Matter Think Tank Occult Lectures was Panic's YouTube channel, which is no longer here. There's a Panic Revival channel where a lot of his videos are being reposted. But I want to call forth Panic and I want to salute Panic because his channel, Occult Lectures, is largely what has influenced me to form Occult Underground as a lecture series and as a headquarters for conscious knowledge being disseminated on this YouTube platform by way of the YouTube classroom as a continuance of what the conscious community prompted me within my own knowledge of self to do in my research. And now for me to step forward and present lectures and information for people to benefit from and to learn from my own experiences as a bridge to edify the ancestors and pave a way forward to the Hotep future that I see within my mind's eye. I have been to the Hotep future. I have seen it. I live in it. This dimension I'm in is broadcasting to you the Hotep future. This is the Hotep future, and it is beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. And that's where we're going. It's the Hotep future, to be at peace. Hotep means to be at peace. We're going to a future where we will be at peace. Even though it may not seem like peaceful times, we're going to exert power to knowledge, and that knowledge is going to elevate us, and we're going to edify the ancestors so that they can help push us forward to the forefront. Because the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Wretched alert. Okay. So, largely, what we're going to deal with in this decode is the Syrian myth. Osiris, Father Osiris. I call forth ODB Ashe. Panic was big on ODB. ODB Ashe. ODB became Osiris. When he told you Wu-Tang is for the children, all the children are my children, he had achieved the true Hotep frequency, the Heru frequency, the Ma'at frequency. He was jumping out of traffic and galvanizing people around him just on the spot, jumping out in traffic, galvanizing people around him, and had people helping him lift a car off somebody that was being crushed by a car. He talked about that on his Howard Stern interview. That's the kind of shit he was doing. If you watch his MTV Lost interview, you can see the God Force resonance through him. That's why they incarcerated him. That's why they did counterintelligence against him. That's why they did legalese warfare against him in those courtrooms. And that's why they carried out a program to get rid of ODB and destroy him and assassinate him, because he was a God restored. He was Father Osiris, and he is Father Osiris, and his spirit lives on. Ashe, Wu-Tang, Ashe. Can I get a soo? That's for ODB. So Osiris is in this right here. I pulled this one out of one of Panic's videos. But this whole lecture, this is my lecture, but I just want to shout out this specific line because I pulled this line out of Panic's video. He said, decoder of symbols. Osiris is the decoder of symbols, the language of the birds. Osiris speaks through symbols, and that's what he was talking about with the hidden culture. So Osiris speaks through symbols. Occultism means hidden culture, and it's spoken through a language of hidden meaning. So we say one thing, but it means something else. Or I reference a pop culture zeitgeist, analogy, but I'm talking about something metaphysical. That's the core component of this. Beyond all the spookyism, niggas are talking about rituals and shit. I'm not talking about that cloak and dagger shit. I don't do that cloak and dagger shit. That shit isn't even occultism. That shit is satanic practice. We don't do that over here. That's cloak and dagger shit. We don't do that. I don't do that Illuminati shit. I'm not with that shit, nigga. This is occultism. Occult means hidden culture. It doesn't even mean I'm doing a ritual. Yeah, there's rituals, but if you put on music and clean the house while you listen to music, that's a ritual. Ritual, you got demystify this shit, despookify this shit. These no tepper ass niggas got you niggas thinking shit is something it's not, and they're just spinning you in loops to pad their own pockets, holding your attention, but ain't giving you no verifiable or no quantifiable knowledge to help you grow. If they're not helping you grow, they're not helping you know, nigga. Those are no teppers, nigga. No teppers sit down. Ho teppers stand up, nigga. So hidden culture exists in the underworld. And Panic was talking about this too. The underworld is your subconscious mind. That is Hades. Hades is the underworld. That's your subconscious mind. Hades from the Hercules cartoon, the Disney cartoon. Hades is your subconscious mind. The river Styx. Your subconscious mind is what's being hardwired with prompts. Because if you're not tapping into knowledge of self and you're not using your own self soul voice to generate your own prompts, your prompts are coming from the algorithmic feed and you are a feedback loop. You've been turned to AI. That's what we talked about in entry 1. So Hades is the divine mind. It's the subconscious of the underworld. And the power you need is sealed in that underworld, and you must awaken that power to become God. And that's also what Panic told you niggas, and I'm gonna reiterate it. This shit is about becoming gods and not being humans. I've been calling motherfuckers human, and people are like, oh, you sound like you're like weird. Like, why are you calling people humans? You're a human. No, I'm not. I am God. And that's blasphemy. The Bible thumpers are scared already. They're already clicking off. I am God. I am the God of my reality. I invoke gods in my godly power because I am a sovereign. I'm not under no system of oppression. I've been broke through the system of oppression. I am a renegade in the flesh. This is liberation in the flesh. This is broadcast in the flesh from my dimensional empire where I reign on my throne. This ain't Game of Thrones. This is Reign of Thrones, nigga. This is Reign of Thrones, nigga. Let me fucking remember that shit so I could write the next book. That's Reign of Thrones, nigga, coming soon. This is Reign of Thrones. What do you niggas know about Pantheon's crypt? 30 books on this shit. Go search M Panda on Amazon right now. Go search Mr. Shock Chronicles right now. Go get those 30 books of lore I done dumped on you niggas' heads in 5 months. Go read the Werewolf Man trilogy. Go read Evil Sphere. Go read that shit. Go read The Surviving Nom. Go read Mr. Shock's Box of Blood Clots. Go get the cloth. Let's keep talking about it, nigga. So this is about awakening your God power. The purpose of occult knowledge and occult information is liberating yourself from false prompts and becoming your God self, becoming your divine self. If you want to demystify it, becoming your infinite potential for supreme being. Becoming a supreme being, achieving your true potential, achieving your true mission in life, your true aim in life, your true goals for your life, your true destiny, your destined life path, your fate, your destiny. This is what you need to awaken through Osiris. Osiris is the god in the tomb who's sealed inside of you that you must release. That's the purpose of the hidden culture. Everyone has Osiris in them. These pop cult icons are people who awakened their inner Osiris and became gods. These niggas are gods to you niggas. These starlets are goddesses. They are worshipped. Y'all grovel and worship at the feet of these celebrities. Their days are numbered because the false gods always go away. Remember on American Gods? How the techno gods came in and the old gods was having to work at diners and shit? So Odin was like on his movement, like trying to come back, like Shadow Moon, nigga. I'm a light skinned nigga like Shadow Moon. Like I'm Shadow Moon, nigga. I'm the MC. I'm the protagonist, nigga. I'm the nigga they've been trying to get rid of niggas like us since they assassinated Trayvon Martin. That's our prophet. Michael Brown, that's our prophet. Tamir Rice, those are our prophets. They assassinated young brothers like us trying to kill the young black male, trying to destroy us, trying to get rid of potential profits because they were trying to stop the next Shadow Moon from stepping up with Excalibur raised on these niggas. But they didn't get me. You niggas didn't get me. I'm still here. Shadow Moon in the flesh, nigga. I'm right here, and I don't need Odin to prompt me. I am Odin, nigga. Odin's the fucking machete I'm holding, nigga. I got my machete raised, and that's how I hold it, nigga. That's on Jason Voorhees, nigga. What you niggas know? That's Tom Sawyer, nigga. The fuck, nigga? Come on, bruh. So we can break down those Syrian myth real simple. Real simple, y'all. I don't even got my microphone today, but that's okay. We can break this shit down real simple, bro. Your best spiritual defense, and Panic was talking about this as well. Your best spiritual defense is these ancient sciences. You have to use this to erase the influence of false prompts. When you don't tune in, you can tune out and you can tap in so you don't got to tap out. Run that one back. You got to tune out the noise and not tune into that shit. Don't doom scroll propaganda and misinformation and say you're keeping up and you're informed. You're not informed, you're misinformed. Motherfuckers ask me about major news stories and I say, who's that? I never heard of them because I don't listen to talking heads. Oh, they deified da-da-da. Not to me. I don't even know who that is. I don't even know who he is. I never heard of him. Who? Who is that? I never heard of that guy. I don't know who you're talking about. People are getting fired over talking heads. I never heard of dude. Who is that? I don't know who he is. Literally, I didn't know who he was until people were asking me, what do you think of this? Like, what's your hot take, Hotep, nigga? I'm like, who is that? I never heard of that guy. Like, that's what I'm talking about. That's power, bro. That means the misinformation is not misinforming me. I'm not even tuned in. I'm tuned out. I'm tapping in, so I'm not tapping out. That's power. It's not ignorance is bliss. You're ignoring the truth. It's not the truth when it's a lie. It's not truth when it's rage bait. It's not truth when it's designed to trigger you. I don't need to be triggered. I'm not triggerable, nigga. Fuck you. I talk about my shit. Give a fuck about some bullshit. You can't. That's the thing. No one can deify someone for you when you don't see them as a deity. When you don't view their lens as valuable. They say shit isn't accredited. Mainstream traditional publishing would say I'm my self-published works. They would say, well, that's not, he didn't come from academia. Those are just, he's an amateur. Nigga, I give myself merit. I give myself prestige. My prestige is I have 30 books on Amazon and there's authors who haven't published 30 books in their lifetime. My prestige is I dropped like 20 plus books in 5 months and Trad Pub only lets mainstream authors drop 1 or 2 books a year. Some of my favorite authors only get to drop 1 or 2 books a year because they're going through publishing houses. I drop my own shit. I dropped 20 plus books in like 4 months. My first 30 days on Substack, I dropped 4 volumes, and that's the Mr. Shock Chronicles. Compiling all my Substack posts up until the point where I wrote so many they couldn't be compiled no more. Now there's just hundreds of them on Substack, which is all licensed under me, copywritten under me. Every post on Substack is copyrightable to the author. You own it. It's your copyrighted material, and I still drop copyright notices on the posts anyway. All that shit is mine. All that IP is mine. Hollywood, if you niggas want to plagiarize, know that I will be collecting my dough. You do not have permission to use any of my stories. No one has permission to use any of my stories or copy any of my shit. I will be on your heads like Sophia Stewart if I see a Terminator or a Matrix pop up from my Third Eye books that I've dropped or any of my shit on Substack. You AI niggas trying to steal niggas shit, I own your shit if you made your shit off my shit. I have all original IP. The Coleverse is unrefutable. There's 30 books of it. It is unrefutable. You niggas cannot stop the Coleverse. That shit lives on. Regardless, that shit's already immortal. It's already in the algorithm. It's already in the simulation. 30 books. 30 books deep. 28. 30, that's damn near 30. So the Osirian myth, for those of you who aren't familiar, Osiris is the god of the underworld and Kemetic lore and Kemetic mythology. What you call ancient Egypt, we in the conscious community and among Hotepers and black conscious minds and black intellectuals and the Afrocentric historians and the cultural anthropologists, we don't call it ancient Egypt. It's Kemet. Kemet denotes the African origins and African heritage and hidden culture of what they call ancient Egypt. They try to attribute ancient Egypt to Indo-Europeans. There's no such thing as an Indo-European. That doesn't exist. There's no Indo-European language, culture, nation, kingdom, relics, artifacts. There's no such thing as an Indo-European. That doesn't exist. Kemet was built by Kushites, which are indigenous people of melanated complexions in prehistoric Africa. And Africa is just what they call it now, which comes from African Africanist, some like European emperor or something who had Africanist in his name. So they call Africa Africa. I call it Nubia, the divine mother continent. I call her Nubia because we're the Nubians, melanated people. We're Nubians. We come from Kush. Kush, and here's the thing I also need to address with this. We need to start looking at history when it comes to Kemet and Kush and the ancient past. We need to start looking at it as a new terrain to build on instead of a crypt to raid. Because you have people who want to say, well, what book says it? Where's it in the book? What book has this? Books are only based on research motherfuckers could get information to find. There's histories that were lost to historical record that they've rewritten. The same way they rewrote history and lied and said da-da-da was from here instead of from there. We need to build new mythos. It doesn't matter if the shit even happened, even if the shit didn't happen. If we say it happened, guess what? It did happen because it becomes lore. Lore is law. So if we rebuild the past and we come up with new storylines, we rebuilt it. So that's the new version now. That's the version that will be remembered. It doesn't matter if this shit happened or not, even if it didn't happen. It probably happened because if we think of it, it's probably coming from the Akashic records. But even if not, even if I made the shit up totally, if it's beneficial in terms of our empowerment, then it's improvement. So the take I'm presenting, and this isn't even a take because you can look at Drusilla D. Houston's Wonderful Ethiopians of the Kushite Empire. That's where my Afrocentric historical standpoint is based after. So I have literature to back it up. It's also based after Stolen Legacy. The Kushites were not just one kingdom. It wasn't just one kingdom. It wasn't just the kingdom of Kush. Kush was the world empire of prehistoric Africa before the fall of Kemet, before the rise of ancient Greece, before the beginning of the colonization, before Kemet became ancient Greece, became ancient Rome, and ancient Greece was a black civilization. And so was ancient Rome. We had black emperors in ancient Rome. I don't believe that ancient Greece or ancient Rome were anything other than African civilizations because no other people other than African people, melanated people on the planet could even build civilizations that advanced at that time period. The barbarians of the Dark Ages who built Europe did not build ancient Greece or ancient Rome. They claimed that as their heritage. They did not build that. If they had built ancient Greece or ancient Rome, the barbarians who pillaged and plundered in the Dark Ages in medieval times who built Europe, they wouldn't have been barbarians emerging out of caves during the Middle Ages if they had built ancient Greece or ancient Rome. Ancient Greece and ancient Rome were black civilizations. Those were black empires. That's our shit. That's our lore. Those are Kemetic. Those are the children of Kemet. That's our shit. 300 and all that shit, that's our shit. That's all our shit. That's all Afrocentric historical realities. We don't have to throw away the benefits of Greek mythology and Roman mythology and the conquest mind of dominance and power and say, oh, that's their shit. That's not their shit. That's stolen legacies. That's stolen legacies. They gave you a faulty prompt. I'm here to correct it. That's our shit. Those are black civilizations. I have books I didn't even write yet for Black Greece and Black Rome. I didn't even write those yet. Those are up here. Black Greece and Black Rome. That's our shit. So Kush is the prehistoric world empire. It was a world empire. There was no Europe. This is before Kemet was built. And the world is millions, this planet is billions, trillions of years old. You go all the way back to Lemuria, to Atlantis, all the way back to that shit. That's all before Kush. But if you want to talk about historical without going all the way into myth, we can look at Kush. Kush was a world empire. The Aztecs, the Incans, the indigenous people of South America, the indigenous people of North America and Canada, what today is America, the Native Americans and the indigenous, they all had copper complexions back then. The Aztec, Incan Mayans had copper complexions. Ancient China, the indigenous people of ancient China all had copper complexions. The people that was in Sumer and Mesopotamia, modern day Middle East, they all had copper complexions. These were all one people. These were all Nubian people. We all have bloodlines dating back to them, all of us. There's no people on the planet whose bloodlines are not dating back to them because those were the original people of this planet. That's a Afrocentric historical reality. And the fact I have to say it's Afrocentric is only because they've branded us with faulty prompts and said that we're the hue of man, and they've divided us up into races. Biologically, a human DNA cell cannot be determined whether it's white or black. If you have charred up bodies, you don't know who's white and who's black based on the DNA or based on the blood sample. It's Nubians. But I'm reclaiming heritage. So I'm going to put it under a lens of Afrocentric historical realities to reclaim it because they stole it. If you niggas want to play categorization, then I'm going to categorize everything as our shit because it is our shit. This is all our shit. But it's everyone's shit because we're all one people. I believe in power of all people. We're all one people. The only people who don't get to say we're the people is the people who push oppression, people who push tyranny and fascism and dictators trying to build regimes to oppress everyone else. Those are the people that I'm against. Those are the people we stand against. But the rest of us, we're all just people, whether you're white, black, Latino, Asian, indigenous, doesn't matter. We're all one people. All of our heritages can all trace back to prehistoric Africa, to Kush. You don't have to look at Kush and say it was an African civilization or Afrocentric civilization. You just look at it as the world's first empire in the beyond myth. Because if we look back at Atlantis and Lemuria, that's so far back, that's all lore. But Kush, we can historically date that back through artifacts, through Docility D. Houston's book, Wonderful Ethiopians of the Kushite Empire, through the history that's been recovered out of Kemet. We know Kemet didn't arrive out of dust. They rather say aliens built it than say Nubian people with melanated complexions did it. The fact that people think acknowledging that the original people of this planet all had a darker complexion and we all are descendants of those people, and the fact that we have different pigmentations now is just a matter of DNA, DNA being scattered or whatever has happened or genetically modified. We're all the same people. The fact we say we're humans and we have different races, that's something we socially engineered. We're all the same original people that were Nubians on this planet, and it's the social engineering of faulty prompts that has said that we're different categories. When I say Kushite, I mean original people, which anyone of any race can claim a descendant of Kushite because you're a descendant of the original people if you're a person. The only people who shouldn't be claiming descendant of Kushite is if you're not a person. So what are you? Because as far as I knew, we're all people. They say aliens aren't real, monsters aren't real, vampires aren't real. We're all people then. So why aren't you claiming descendant of Kushite? Because Kushite means original people, not even just Nubian. It means original people, the people who built civilization. All the indigenous people of the planet are Kushites. All of them. The indigenous in the Americas, the indigenous through Asia, through Mesopotamia, over in Australia, the Aboriginals. We're all descendants of the Kushites. It's all the same bloodline. And Kemet is the core mythology. Kemet was built by the Kushites, and then the Kemetic lore transitioned over into Greek mythology, then Roman mythology, and then you have the Dark Ages after the fall of Rome. We go into medieval times, and out of medieval times is the rise of New Europe, which is what our world is a reflection of, but really America is a modern day Rome. This ain't Game of Thrones, it's Reign of Thrones. And it's a lineage in history of different empires reigning over the world. So the Osirian myth is this. Osiris is, you could call him god of Kemet, right? Let's just frame it within Kemet, or we could frame it within Kush. Let's do it within Kemet. Let's keep it Kemetic, because Kush is new. That's something new I'm introducing. So Osiris is king of Kemet, god of Kemet, right? He's the father god principle. He represents the ultimate metaphysical power of God. His evil brother Set kills him, dismembers him. This is the same as the Syrian myth. It's also called the Syrian myth. I'm calling it the Osirian myth because it's Osiris, but it's a Syrian myth. Asar is another name for Osiris. This is the same myth reflected through Star Wars. It's the same myth reflected through Lion King with Scar and Simba and Mufasa. Osiris is Mufasa. Set is Scar, the evil uncle who kills the king. Heru is conceived as the son of the king, as Luke Skywalker, after Isis, the consort and queen to Osiris. She has Anubis gather his dismembered body parts, put him back together, and she conceives Heru once he's restored through basically necromancy. That's how you get Heru, and then Heru has to defeat Set to become Osiris. So on a quantum level within the mythic grid, Osiris is your god power self. You are Heru striving to become Osiris again. Through your divine feminine nature of Isis, you go through the divine feminine of Isis by you have to basically the divine feminine of Isis illuminates the darkness of your shadow aspect, which is Anubis. So it's not only male, female, it's more so light polarity. Isis represents the light polarity, the divine feminine, and Anubis represents the masculine polarity and the shadow aspect. Your shadow aspect, which is all your traumas, all your repressed self, the false prompts, you have to illuminate those through the divine knowledge of Isis as Heru. Heru is half Anubis, half Isis, basically. You're the jackal half is your beast mind, and Isis is your god self. And you're trying to make them combine one to become the ultimate god self of Osiris again. So to do that, you have to take knowledge of self from Isis, which also can be represented as Ma'at, and you illuminate Anubis, the shadow aspect of your repressed self, to achieve Hotep, to be at peace. And that's where you become Osiris again as Heru by defeating Set. And Set is the false prompts that are preventing you from illuminating the shadow aspect. Set is your prison of your mind, keeping you from becoming Osiris. And Heru is your hero's journey to become Osiris. So that's the Syrian myth. Prompts or feedback loops. Okay, so this is where we're going into my shit. So this is where this is all from me, from my IP. Prompts and feedback loops. Sometimes the feedback loop is meant to teach you some shit you already know, that you already learned, but you forgot because you didn't sit down with it and master it. You stayed stuck in the pattern. So what that amounts to is let me keep going. I want to do this, this, and this to change my life. I'm gonna stop doing this, and this to improve my life. But you stop doing this, and this to change your life, and you go back to doing this, and this that's holding you back. So let me break that down. You come to knowledge of self. You say, I need to start doing this, and this to change my life. I need to stop doing this and this because that's holding me back. So you start doing this, and this to improve your life, but eventually you stop and you go back to doing this, and this that's holding you back, and you get stuck in that loop. I need to change my life. You start, stop, go back to not improving, and then start, stop, go back to. That's a feedback loop. And during that loop, you make progress. You have epiphanies, breakthrough moments. Oh, I didn't realize this. You don't lose those when you go back and you backslide on some shit. You don't lose them unless you forget them. So sometimes you might do a few feedback loops and then you remember some shit from one of them that you learned already, but you didn't sit down with it and hold it and keep it and master it. So you got to learn it again. So it's easier to look at if you're in a healing cycle, don't look at it as I failed, I'm a fuck up. Look at it as you're in a new training session. You didn't master some shit. You might have learned some shit, but you didn't master it. So you're having to do a healing cycle again to master it. That's what that means. So this is where it breaks down. You're stuck in the looking glass, Alice. You're stuck in the looking glass. You're chasing the rabbit around Wonderland and you can't get free. You're drinking the tea. You're in the sunken place. You're stuck in the looking glass. You're under the reign of the Queen of Hearts. You're under the reign of the Queen of Hearts, bro. You're under the reign of the Queen of Hearts. Like, you need to qualify yourself to be your own liberation force. No one's going to save you from yourself. You only are destroying yourself through the false prompts you're accepting through doom scroll culture. The Dead Sea Scrolls got you in a chokehold. You're scrolling dead. You're in the scrolling dead. You've become a zombie. You're mummy mode, Osiris. You're the zombie. You're barely hanging together. Your fucking arms falling off and shit. You gotta restore, rejuvenate, new body, new flesh, reincarnate. You gotta get Osiris free. You're walking around like a zombie, dragging your leg. Your leg's dragging from the mummy wraps. You're dragging along and shit. So, so this is where we get into the Ranger lore of this shit. I have a lot of this shit down. So, in Power Rangers, the Power Rangers are assembled by Zordon, right? And Zordon is kind of like in the Wizard of Oz. He's the floating head in the tube, the energy chamber, the energy tube, which is in the power chamber of the command center. And then Alpha 5 is the robot who's like Zordon's attendant who like helps the Power Rangers and shit and calls the Power Rangers and shit. The energy tube, that's the tomb of Osiris. Zordon, the creator of the Morphin Grid, that's Osiris. That's your awakened self. That's your immense power. Zordon is the nigga who built the Zords. That's what they use to fight the monsters when they turn into kaijus, the Zords. Zordon, nigga. He started this whole shit. He's the original. He is Osiris. Ptah, the creator god, who created this whole Morphin Grid. You are stuck behind the glass of the energy tube. False prompts are keeping you behind an energy tube. You're trapped in the power chamber and you can't get out the command center. You can't activate. You can't morph. Zordon can't morph. He can tell the niggas where to go. He can beam the niggas up and beam the niggas down, but he can't morph. He's stuck. He's a disembodied floating head in an energy tube. He can't do shit. In the Mighty Morphin movie, when Ivan Ooze destroyed the command center, had him laying up in the broken glass, he was dying because he can't morph outside the energy tube. That's you in mummy mode. Ugh. You got to defeat Ivan Ooze. Ivan Ooze is the false prompts. What did Ivan Ooze do in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie? He had the slime and the ooze, had all the parents working, doing labor, and he was going to walk them off a cliff. And only the kids could see. That's the world, nigga. Kids got the goggles to see because they haven't been indoctrinated yet and their spirit hasn't been broken. They haven't become jaded adults who are working slaves in a broken system. The Power Rangers lost their powers. They had to go to the island and they had to go to that mystic priestess, sexy ass priestess, who gave them the new powers. And they had to go see the goddess. That's Isis. When Osiris got chopped up, Zordon, they had to go see Isis. That was the Heru journey to get their powers back. They had to go get their powers back. And Ivan Ooze was Anubis. He was the one they had to defeat. He was the shadow aspect they had to defeat to get their powers back to form the Megazord and restore Zordon. That's just the Mighty Morphin movie. That's just the movie. So the real metaphysics occult for Power Rangers is Power Rangers in space. So to walk you through it quick, Zordon was in charge of Power Rangers for Mighty Morphin and for Zeo. But then when he leaves, actually no, I didn't he leave for Zeo? Was he in Zeo? I forget. I was looking it up. I don't know if he left for Zeo. I don't know if it was Zeo. I think it might have been during Zeo he left. So basically, Power Rangers Mighty Morphin, their powers in the Zordon era, it was the same lore, the same canon. Every season of Power Rangers was a continuation of the prior season. It wasn't a reboot each time until after the Zordon era ended. That's where every time it was just a new Power Rangers mythology, a new universe, just new Power Rangers. They would still do crossovers, but it wasn't really connected like it was in the Zordon era, where they would have to give the power over to the new Rangers. You would see them pass the torch. The lineage became broken, which reflects the way nowadays we don't look back and edify the elders. We just take the reboot and run with it. Lost Galaxy. That's the post Zordon era. So Mighty Morphin, they got the Zeo crystal, was the Zeo powers. And that shit had a lot of comedic iconography. Japan has deep Kushite bloodlines. That's why Japan is a warrior people, samurai and ninja. Japan loves hip hop, and black people love anime. We love anime. They love hip hop, samurai and ninjas, kung fu movies, all the shit. Asia has the Kushite bloodlines back to Kush, bro. We're all one people. That's why Bruce Lee, he's a prophet. He's a Kushite. He was a master Kushite. He awakened his Osiris powers. He was a master Kushite. We see race. The spirit realm isn't looking at us through race, it's about energy. So the Zeo crystals gave them Zeo powers, and then I don't know if it was during Zeo. I think it might have been during Zeo, or it might have been right after they defeated Rita and Mighty Morphin. But Zordon leaves the energy tube and goes to a different planet. He leaves Alpha 5. Alpha 5 is the AI. So that's the AI. That's what Alpha 5 is just the AI. And Demetria comes into the tube. Demetria is a veiled priestess. She's a goddess. That's that's Isis. So then Isis is in control of them because Zordon's gone. That's the dismemberment of Osiris. So they're under Demetria now. Demetria's in charge of these niggas. She's the one guiding them. That's the Heru journey. The whole original Power Rangers saga is a Heru journey. So from Zeo, they shift into Turbo. That's the Turbo movie. The Turbo movie predates the Turbo show of the season. And the Turbo movie was the second Power Ranger movie where they get the turbo powers, they lose the Zeo powers, get the turbo powers. So in the Turbo movie, they introduced Divatox and they introduced Dark Spectre. Divatox is the evil twin of Demetria. She's the dark mother goddess. She's the dark side goddess. The one that eats your ass. She's Kali. Kali is the goddess of immense destruction because she destroys that which doesn't serve you and bestows you with divine illumination. She is the Brahma ultimate reality principle, but she can also devour you to nothing. So Divatox is the dark goddess, Demetria is the light goddess. So that's the duality with that between Divatox and Demetria. And at one point, the actress who played Divatox, she also played Demetria. So fact check that, but I'm pretty sure about that. So Divatox wants to be Dark Spectre's bride. And Dark Spectre is your disembodied Osiris. Dark Spectre is your shadow aspect. Dark Spectre is Anubis. Dark Spectre is your dark side energy. So here's the thing. To awaken Kundalini, which is the serpent fire flame, and we'll get to that, but to awaken your God self of Osiris, it's a demonic force, not demonic like satanic practice evil shit, but demonic in terms of it's a monstrous power. And you have been fed with false prompts to where your shadow self, which is really your inner child, has been mutated into a monstrous being in terms of its energy because you haven't healed it. So that's why Dark Spectre is a big lava monster, because you got to get past the lava to see the power of self within the shadow aspect when you heal it with the light. So Demetria, Divatox, she's trying to be the consort to Dark Spectre. It's still Isis Osiris, but it's the dark sides, the dark versions, the dark energy of it. Let me cook. So then after Turbo, Divatox ultimately destroyed the command center and sent them into space. They had to go into space to flee Divatox, and they become Power Rangers in space. And Power Rangers Turbo is one of the best Power Ranger teams because they were the most diverse. The Black Ranger, the Red Ranger was black, TJ. The Green Ranger and the Yellow Ranger are both Latino. Ashley, the Yellow Ranger, she's like one of the baddest there's ever been. She's so beautiful, so gorgeous. She's still totally gorgeous. And if I'm not mistaken, she's Latina. And then the Pink Ranger, she's Asian, Cassie, and she also was a baddie. And then the Blue Ranger, Justin, was a kid, but when he would morph, he would grow to the size of an adult. And that represents the Heru journey from Simba to King of the Pride Lands to becoming Osiris. So that transformation where he goes from kid to adult sized Blue Ranger, that's the Heru journey transformation commodified. So Turbo is where the shit continued to get more and more mythic, and the bloodline heritage started coming through. You know what I'm saying? And you have Cassie inheriting the Asian heritage, which dates back to Twee, with her being the original Yellow Power Ranger and being from the Vietnam War. You know, she survived the Vietnam War, came to America. She studied Shaolin Kung Fu. Her being Asian was very powerful in terms of Asian representation. And it also was a cultural bridge that tied the Japanese aspect of tokusatsu to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Even though she was herself Vietnamese and studied Shaolin Kung Fu, which comes out of China, she was that Asian cultural bridge to bridge the Asian element of Power Rangers from tokusatsu from Japan. And that lineage is then reflected through Cassie. She's also of Asian heritage, and she inherits that from Twee. So there's a lot of different mythic resonance going on. The actress who played the Yellow Power Ranger, she Ashley, she actually ended up with the communicator watch that was Twee's original watch from Mighty Morphin that got passed down to each Yellow Ranger. She actually has that still. She actually got to keep that. So that's a powerful talisman and powerful relic, because the Zordon era ended. They weren't using communicators anymore. So she got to keep that. She was talking about it at a panel. And I'm not using their actor names because I don't want to fact check all the actor names. I'm just using their names in the show. So if you know, you know. If not, you look it up. So um, Dark Spectre is the villain for In Space, but he's like disembodied. He's like at the edge of the galaxy, and his field commander is Astronema. Baddie. She's space baddie. She had the blue wig. Baddie. I didn't really, once they gave her the short red hair, she wasn't as bad, but Astronema was a baddie. That's why the Silver Ranger, Zane, him and Astronema were like vibes because she was straight baddie. Astronema is one of the baddies of Power Rangers. So Astronema is the Princess of Evil. She's in charge of Dark Spectre's army and all his affairs. She's secretly stealing his power and shit and going against him, a coup against him. So she's the dark side Kali, and she's the dark goddess. But she also, represents Isis, but in the dark form. And she actually is the Red Ranger Andros, his younger sister, who got kidnapped during their childhood. She got abducted and taken away by Darkonda. Darkonda is one of the scariest looking monsters in Power Rangers. As a kid, that motherfucker, he looks like he's a straight demon. Darkonda, that's your dark side. That's your shadow aspect in its devilish form. Darkonda represents what happens when you become a devil. That's that satanic practice. That's that cloak and dagger shit. You succumb to the false prompts and you turn into a troll. You let yourself get turned into a product of evil who brings harm to the world. That's when you become Darkonda. Darkonda snatches Astronema as a kid. Her real name is Corone. He kidnaps Corone, which that trauma is what drives Andros to his heroic journey to find her as the Red Ranger and lead the Power Rangers in space. Darkonda takes her. She gets raised by Ecliptor. Ecliptor is evil, but he actually has a heart of gold. He loves her like a daughter because he raises her. He's like more so Anubis regathering Osiris as part of this Heru process. Ecliptor raises Astronema, and he kind of borders that fence of anti-hero. He's evil, but he's good because he loves Astronema. So he'll go against Dark Spectre. He fights Darkonda. At one point, him and Darkonda fuse. So that shows like that's the good and evil. You could be Darkonda, or you could be Ecliptor. You know what I'm saying? Ecliptor ain't always look, he doesn't always look like a hero. You might look like an anti-hero sometimes, but if you have love in your heart like he has for Astronema, then you're still on the side of righteous and you can become Osiris again. But Darkonda, no redeemable qualities. He's just pure evil. That's what happens if you lose knowledge of self and get prompted. You can become a product of evil. You could become a straight up monster out here. You Darkonda with your shit. You don't want to be Darkonda, bro. And these are all on YouTube. You can watch every season of Power Rangers on YouTube. So go watch In Space. Watch like the last 2 episodes of Turbo and then just watch In Space. That's where the cult is. That's where the hidden culture's at. And then so this also ties into like as far as Jason David Frank and his mythos is Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger. He got his powers from Rita Repulsa, gave him the curse of the Green Ranger, which started out from the Green Ranger candle. He was under her control. Then he got his control back, but his power was limited. He would demorph. He could only use his powers. So he has the Dragon Dagger. He has the Dragon Zord, which is immense power, but it wasn't sustainable. He couldn't hold the charge because it was rooted in that Darkonda energy. So he couldn't keep the charge. He was more on his Goldar shit. So then Zordon gave him the true knowledge of self. He got Saba, the White Tiger, and he became the White Ranger with the infinity power. That's the one where he carries through all of Mighty Morphin to the movie and he becomes the Red Zeo Ranger. He can transition into new Ranger incarnations. He was the Green Ranger, became the White Tiger Ranger, became the Red Zeo Ranger, Red Turbo Ranger, and then returned later as the Black Dino Ranger. And then he got the Master Morpher where he could do all of his Ranger forms. And then, in his movie that they're still producing, Jason David Frank's last movie is The White Dragon, where he created his own lore, his own canon, his own IP. And his daughter, she's carrying that legacy now, that lineage. And they have the actress who played the Yellow Ranger in Lost Galaxy, Maya. She's part of that too, that movie. So you, as the Green Ranger, you're under the curse of the candle. You're on your Darkonda shit. You're in your evil shit. You're in your imprisoned mode. You're still Zordon in the chamber. You haven't defeated Dark Spectre. You got to defeat Dark Spectre if you want to get out of the energy tube and become Osiris. You got to get Zordon out of the energy tube. And this era of In Space, they're looking for Zordon because he got captured by Dark Spectre. That just represents Osiris being disembodied. They're trying to find Zordon. So you're disembodied. You have to defeat Dark Spectre. You got to defeat your Darkonda. Darkonda is like Dark Spectre's power, like quantified into form. It's like that's who you got to defeat. You got to defeat your evil self as Darkonda. It's the same as with the anime Devilman. Akira Fudo is a pure heart, so when he merges with the demon Amon, he takes Amon's power and becomes Devilman. That's what Devilman Apocalypse is about. If you watch the Dark Side of Devilman Amon OVA from the year 2000, which is on YouTube, Amon is his evil self and he's Devilman. He takes the evil of the Dark Spectre shit, he converts that power and becomes a Power Ranger type shit. He becomes his hero mode as Devilman. Instead of being Darkonda, he becomes Devilman to where he's more like a Ecliptor. He's using the power of being a monster to defeat other monsters. He's going against the Darkonda shit. He's going against the Green Ranger shit. He's going against Goldar. And he's going against being Goldar. He's becoming the Gold Ranger. He's turning the dark shadow aspect into gold. He's quantifying. He's illuminating the shadow aspect with light through the morphin grid to get the power. And the morphin grid is just the energy grid. We're all on it. This is, a holographic universe or whatever, simulation reality. But the energy grid is you have personal chi, and then your chi connects to nature, to the world, and that's an energetic grid around the world. That's the morphin grid, and that's where you get your power and your inspiration that drives you in knowledge of self. So it's motherfucking morphin time. You know what I mean? It's time to morph. Niggas need to morph. Niggas need to pick up the morpher and morph and get your powers back and get out of that energy tube. You got to get out of the energy tube. You're trapped in the energy tube. So you gotta defeat Dark Spectre so you can gain his power and become Zordon released from the energy tube. At the end of In Space, Andros, spoiler alert, finds Zordon. He has to smash his energy tube to release Zordon, and that's the return of the power of Osiris. That's where Andros becomes Osiris. He gains the power of Zordon by freeing him symbolically. He's gaining that power, and that's the power you need. You have to shatter your false prompts, which are forming the energy tube around you. They're draining your energy, keeping you sealed in as a disembodied head like Zordon. You got to smash through that shit, which that glass looks like Dark Spectre. That glass looks like Dark Honda. But you're Ecliptor. You can fight Dark Honda. Ecliptor can fight Dark Honda. Ecliptor merged with Dark Honda and he came back out of it. He didn't get devoured. He came back out of it and he had, and he was fading Dark Honda. You can smash through the glass. You can defeat Dark Spectre. And Divatox, your shadow aspect of the divine feminine, she will become Demetria and she will illuminate you and you will become your god self. You become Osiris. You don't have to be under a limited power usage of the Green Ranger where you might have bursts of good energy, but you're stilled in false prompts. You can become the White Ranger with Saba with the fucking white tape tiger sword with the saber, and you could be out here doing your shit, doing your Dougie. You know what I mean? And Alpha 5, that's just the AI. In Turbo, they gave Alpha 5 hip hop protocol to where Alpha 5 talked like hip hop. You're stuck with the AI in the command center hearing the same feedback loops every day. Ay, 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 ay. To where you're turning into a bot. You're turning into a bot. You're walking around like Alpha 5. Ay, 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 ay. Like, bruh, you should be out here on your White Ranger shit. It's morphin' time, nigga. White Tiger, nigga. I got my white on right now, nigga. It's White Tiger mode out here. White Dragon, nigga. JDF, Ashe. Twee Trang, Ashe. Like we're on our ascended power. This is Power Ranger lore, but it's more phenomenal knowledge. The morphin grid is just the energy grid. You got to morph your power to become your true self. Your true self is your God self. And that's a monstrous power. That's why it's demonized. They tell you stay away from it because it looks like Dark Spectre, but it's really Zordon. When you go past the lava, nigga, it's Zordon. And when Zordon gets out of that energy tube, he's the White Ranger. Ultimate power, the most powerful Ranger. Niggas never been as powerful as Tommy is the White Ranger, bruh. He's the most powerful. So, and then Astronema, they ended up freeing her from the mind control of the false prompts that was making her be the Princess of Evil and the Queen of Evil. And she comes back in Lost Galaxy as her true self, Corone, and becomes the Pink Ranger. So it's all about these dynamics of you have a shadow aspect and you have a light aspect. You always have a choice between righteous living and dark shit. Cloak and dagger shit. The cloak and dagger shit will always give you false prompts. It always tempts you into a false prompt because it's easier than being righteous. But the righteous shit will reward you it'll give you your true life, your true destiny, your true power. You can doom scroll, but why would you choose to doom scroll when you get nothing from it? Of course, it's easier to not try. Of course, it's easier to give up. But if you don't get nothing from it, why wouldn't you instead become your God self? You can defeat Darkonda, bro. You can defeat Dark Spectre. You can use your Green Ranger powers to defeat Dark Spectre, to defeat Goldar, to defeat Rita Repulsa, to defeat Divatox, and you can become Osiris. You can become the White Ranger. You can get Zordon out of the energy tube and become the Morphin Grid itself. You can become the energy that surges through the energetic grid of the planet, and you can inspire other people, bro. Like, this shit is deep. This shit gets deep, bro. Like, that's what Bruce Lee did, bro. He became his God self. He became his God self, and he became iconic. An icon is just somebody who has the glow. An icon is somebody whose power level has surged and they have morphed to their true self, and now they influence outside culture. They influence outside culture. It's chaos magic. If you want to look at what system this falls under, it's chaos magic. It breaks down to sigils, servitors, and egregores or egregores. And this is what memes are all governed through this. Pepe the Frog is Kek from Kemetic mythology. That's Afrocentric historical mythology. That's from Kemet. That's Kek the Frog from the Ogdode, which is 4 pairs of consort deities. Each one is a male and female pair, couples, 4 of them. That's the Ogdode. That's the frog. In Power Rangers My Morphin, when they asked Johnny Young Bosch, the goddess asked him, why are you so sad? He says, I'm a frog. And she's like, the frog has power. That's Kek. You know what I'm saying? So a sigil is an idea or a thought form that is given resonance through affirmation. So it's an initiated thought form. That's a sigil. And when a sigil grows in power, or when you assemble a bunch of sigils through lore, that's how mythology works. It's also how branding works and how franchises are built and how pop culture phenomenons explode. When a bunch of sigils are gathered, or a single sigil is continually poured energy into from the morphin grid or the energetic grid, the mythotech engine, that sigil becomes a servitor. Now, a servitor is where a thought form exists in its own disembodied, not sentience, but it becomes a spirit, not like a ghost, but it's an energetic frequency where it exists even beyond you. So, like my YouTube channel and all my online content, it's a servitor. If I'm not online, somebody can watch a video of some shit I said in a past version of myself in a different timeline, can be speaking to them actively, and they can be engaging with me, and my YouTube content acts in its own realm. That's a servitor. Total Shock Fiction, all my books, my TikToks, my YouTube, my Substack, that's a servitor. Total Shock Fiction is like my servitor. That's my like grand sigil of my servitor that I disseminate all my shit through that, all my M. Pandit Cole shit, all my Mr. Shock shit. It's all through the servitor of Total Shock Fiction. Now, where you hit Osiris level on some Zordon shit is where your servitor becomes an egregore. That's where people start drawing from your servitor and making it their own. That's where people start pulling up to my videos and walking away, and they're throwing up Occult Underground, and they're saying Occult Underground, and they're telling people Occult Underground. They're saying I'm part of the Occult Underground. They're saying I watch Occult Underground. I am Occult Underground. I get knowledge of self from that shit. I fuck with that shit. I read the books. I buy the books. I'm Occult Underground. I'm OU. When niggas start throwing up OU, that's when your shit is an egregore. That's when a servitor becomes an egregore. And there's sigils, logos, brand logos, all kinds of shit. They assemble sigils in movies, music, media, and they create servitors. And then those servitors form egregores, and those egregores are feeding you false prompts as a feedback loop. And you're getting caught in a level of worship to an egregore that's stealing your energy, stealing your inspiration, stealing your ideas, stealing your power, and keeping you unable to morph. It's depowering you. It's keeping you stuck in an energy tube behind the glass, sealed away, and your inner power is trapped in the form of Dark Spectre or Dark Honda, and you can't get to the Morphin grid to get your White Ranger powers because you can't get through the glass because you're on a feedback loop, keeping you caught in an algorithm of an egregore. And that's what the fuck is happening. That's prompts. That's the power of prompts. And see, The reason why I use Power Ranger lore to break this down is because Power Ranger prompted me in significant ways. It prompted me to have a view of I want to be a hero. I want to do good. The Power Rangers always helped people. They helped kids. They helped the community. They were all friendly and nice. They always did the right thing. They always saved the day. That's the prompt I run off of. But over years, I accepted other prompts that fucked with my programming. Hip hop, get money and bitches. That didn't go with my prompt of its morphin' time. That's why I opened this up with the rap shit. That prompt of get money and bitches in the club, which I idolized and pursued, did not go with the prompt Zordon gave me as a nigga with attitude, as a teenager with attitude, as a kid who wanted to have a morpher to morph, to save the day, to defeat Darkonda, to defeat Divatox, to defeat Rita Repulsa, to defeat the monsters, to defeat Dark Spectre, to shift into turbo. Zordon and Demetria and the Power Rangers told me shift into turbo because it's morphin' time, and hip hop told me bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. Money rules everything around me. Money is all. It's all about the Benjamins, money and bitches, which was a lie because that's not what life's about at all. And half of those niggas don't even live that life. They was doing all kinds of apprehensible things to even get into those environments. So it was all a lie. It was a shiny ass lie, like those shiny ass suits these niggas were wearing in the music videos in the 90s. It was a shiny ass lie like Cisco's shiny fucking hair. And the shampoo and the fucking hair dye is the false prompt soaking up in your mind, turning you niggas into chatbots, turning you niggas into trolls, turning y'all into zombies, making these beautiful, lovely goddesses act out like sirens. Everybody's on a false prompt. I'm seeing too many astronomers and not enough Corones. I'm seeing too many Divatox and not enough Demetrias. You feel me? Like that's where we're at with it. I see Rita Repulsa, but I don't see Demetria though. Where's the priestess energy at? It's all good for the baddies and the flipping through the rotation and you know for Divatox, that's the time Divatox is on. She's a space pirate. I expect that. But even Divatox is just masquerading as astronomer. Cause every siren energy prompted beautiful, lovely goddess who really is a high priestess, she might be operating on dark energy, but really she's Corone. Really, she's Demetria. She's not really Divatox. She's not really Astronomer. She's been prompted by Dark Spectre. She's been prompted by Darkonda. She's been raised by Ecliptor. So she's operating on a dark energy spectrum. The same way these niggas are operating like ghouls running around like Darkonda. So we got a bunch of astronomers out here and we got a bunch of Darkondas out here. And we need to get free. We need to defeat Dark Spectre. This is a call for everybody to destroy the Dark Spectre in your life, what's holding you back, and to get to the power of the morphing grid and to shift into fucking turbo because it is morphing time. Get Zordon out of that glass, out of that energy tube, out of that command center, away from the AI Alpha 5, and shift into turbo, and let's get this power grid cracking so we can start handing out morphers. Because I'm ready to start handing out morphers. If you niggas are ready to go with this knowledge, I'm ready to start handing out morphers. We can start getting this shit on and popping. We can start taking out dark specters every week. Because there's illusions and false prompts that we can destroy through improvement dialogue every week. I see new dark specters on my timeline all day. I see new dark Hondas on my timeline all day. I see Ecliptors, but I see a lot of dark Hondas. And these dark Hondas gotta go. It's shifting the turbo. It's morphing time in this bitch. And that's on Panic. That's on Jason David Frank. That's on Tweet Train. That's Ashe Hotep, nigga. And with that being said, that's Doomscrollers 2, Entry 2, Occult Underground. It's OU, Occult Underground, Mr. Shock, at Mr. Shock on Substack. and Pandit Core on Amazon. You can go get Chainsaw Babe, Project Gematria, Save Me From This Hell I'm In, Ward of the Banshee Sigil, War of the Wet Saints, Peacoat Society, Evil Sphere, the Werewolf Man Trilogy, Surviving Nam, The Hard R, Low Paradise, Son of Ra, Worst of Monsters, The Ultimate Unkillable Monster, Born into the Last Days of the Fall of Saigon, my biography that I wrote about Twee, the story of her incredible life journey as a real life superhero, her journey from the aftermath of the Vietnam War to becoming the Yellow Power Ranger. You can go get that. Everything is on my Amazon. Go to N Pandit Cole. That's EN space Pandit, PANDIT space Cole. N Pandit Cole. You can just search Mr. Shock Chronicles. It'll bring up my books and you can click on my author name. My whole shit's there. My Mr. Shock page on Substack, Ink Runs Red, has all hella shit on there. Fiction, serials, lore, articles, reports, all of the lectures are posted on my Substack. I was referencing my Substack off my tablet. I have the lecture notes that I write for these. I'm posting them to the Substack to archive them. I'm digging through the archive of Black Magic 363, reposting videos there, adding context to the history of the YouTube era, of the conscious community and the dark matter think tank. All of this shit is all already running. My YouTube, my TikTok, at Code of Shock on TikTok, the anime shit is over there. Like, this whole shit is already a machine running. It's already running. I've been taking pointers from Black Magic and KTL Media and all the different media, new media platforms I've watched over the years, and I've been building up my machine. This is the command center. Welcome to the command center. I'm Zordon, but I'm out of the energy tube. There's no Alpha 5 going I around here. I'm just handing out morphers to those who have defeated their Darkonda, and for the astronomers who have gone back to the high priestess of Corone who have become Demetrias, for the astronomers who have become Demetrias, and for the Darkondas who, and for the Ecliptors who defeated the Darkonda and became Power Rangers, who became their hero self, who became their Heru self, who are ready to elevate to the next level as Osiris gods incarnate. That's what the Occult Underground is here. This is the underground culture. This is the hidden culture. This is the dark matter think tank to elevate you so you can morph, because it's time to shift into turbo. And then on that note, until next time, as always, Ashe Hotep, Ashe Hotep.